what I see is like there's a clear hatred towards the filmmaker than the film, which is what actually is surprising me.
This video is not about Sandeep Reddy Vanga versus critics. This video is not about Sandeep Reddy Vanga's Animal and Arjun Reddy's political correctness. This video is not about understanding Sandeep Reddy Vanga's personal life. So don't expect any of that. But this video talks about least talked aspect of Sandeep Reddy Vanga, which is his problem too.
It's about the craft. Nobody speaks about the craft.
I'm not a rebel without a cause, sir.
In this video, let's try and understand how cinematically and technically Sandeep Reddy Vanga films are, irrespective of the difference in opinions with the audience, how is he able to keep the audience hooked till the end? Reason number 1. Deep characters. Sandeep Reddy Vanga is a very unconventional filmmaker and his style and techniques explain that. 3 movies that he has directed, all of them are character-driven films. A character-driven film revolves around the character and the story progression is based on the character's actions. There is a pattern in how Sandeep manages to keep his characters deep. They are grey. And according to me, they are more darker shades of grey because that gives audience scope to enjoy and also question the actions of the character. What are the 2 common questions you will have while watching Arjun Reddy and Animal? 2. Audience are hooked with the character in the first few minutes.
I strongly believe that if you don't make the audience believe, after 15 minutes, if you take a 10 minutes episode where you don't believe anything about the character also, the entire mood of the audience will go down.
Opening with a story. In Arjun Reddy, the grandmother character is narrating a story, which carries the core idea of the movie, and then it instantly proceeds to an extreme act. In Arjun Reddy, he wakes up and drinks, goes to his patient. You know the scene, right? In Animal, the young Kabir Singh is answering a question asked by the teacher, and he suddenly starts running. And you know the scene, right? In both the scenes, one will think that, why is this character behaving like that? And that's when he'll introduce the core conflict. Preeti in Arjun Reddy,
Preeti non guarantee,
and Papa in Animal.
Papa!
The detailing of his characters. The specificity and traits of Sandeep Reddy are very unique and distinct from other movies because of the backstory. The backstories of characters add more depth to the characters.
For example, Kanchanamma garu ఆవిడకి చాలా బ్యాక్ స్టోరీ రాశాను నేను. అర్జున్ కజిన్ సిస్టర్ని ఏడిపిస్తే వాడు 10th లో ఉన్నప్పుడు వాడు ఏం చేసి ఉంటాడు అనేదాన్ని నా దగ్గర బ్యాక్ స్టోరీ. అది సినిమాలో ఉండదు, అది నా సొంత గుల. అది ఎనీ గివెన్ సిచ్యువేషన్ ఇప్పుడు అర్జున్ రెడ్డి అనేవాడిని సిచ్యువేషన్లో పెడితే వాడు ఎలా బిహేవ్ చేస్తాడని నేను 100% చెప్పగలుగుతాను ఇప్పుడు.
Reason number 2. Elevations. Sandeep Reddy's elevations are very old school. It's basically where emotional high reaches a stage where character bursts. With Sandeep, it becomes difficult because his lead characters are always in rage. So, crossing that and giving high is a huge task and Sandeep nails it. Because of this, his audience will be entertained. Also, his staging, shots and character reaction that leads to the elevation scene. Take the football scene from Arjun Reddy or the title reveal sequence of Animal for example. Also, his music sense and choices are so unconventional that you find it more interesting too. Reason number 3. Music and sound design. We always talk about filmmakers and films where the songs and background music are good. But Sandeep Reddy Vanga background musics are good, actually brilliant. But what makes him stand out are the silences. It adds a different layer of tension and emotion to the scene. The silences are mostly used to create a choky feeling to the audience, and he is very particular about his music in general.
ఎందుకు నాకు ఇంకా బాగా గుర్తు అర్జున్ రెడ్డి సక్సెస్ పార్టీ రోజు కలిసి గుర్తుందా? అప్పుడు నువ్వు మ్యూజిక్ సిస్టమ్ దగ్గర పక్క నుంచి కదలట్లే, ఆ రోజు కూడా నువ్వు లేదు అది కాదు, అది ప్లే చేయి, ఇది ప్లే చేయి అని చెప్పి నా దగ్గర ఒకటి ఉందని నీది కనెక్ట్ చేసుకొని నువ్వు ఫిక్స్ అయిపోయారు. యూ వెరీ వెరీ ప్యాషనెట్ అబౌట్ మ్యూజిక్. అంటే నీకు ఆల్రెడీ మైండ్లో ఒక ఎమోషన్ నడుస్తుంటే దాని సింక్ బ్యాక్గ్రౌండ్ స్కోర్ ఏదో నడవాలి నీకు. అది నేను చాలా రేర్గా చూసే క్వాలిటీ.
Also, if you notice, Sandeep's choices of music in the scenes is very unconventional, in the sense that there is a certain music conventionally used to generate a certain feeling or emotion. But Sandeep is trying something different, which adds up to the whole movie watching experience. There is an interesting story to this. Let's hear it from him.
I always feel like, for example, if somebody is getting angry, there's a regular kind of BGMs you hear in most of the films. I don't want to use that. I always try to, use a different instrument in a different emotion and see whether it's working.
Reason number 4. Main character talks what they feel, both in Arjun Reddy and Animal. There are a lot of scenes where the emotions are communicated through the character's actions, but mostly he uses conversations to communicate that. The main character will be explaining his inner thoughts, feelings, and what they are going through. In general, using a lot of dialogues might be considered as spoon-feeding the audience, but with his films, that's not the case, because the dialogues are interesting, deep, and emotionally touching. And this is a core aspect of character-driven films where the scope for misunderstanding should be reduced in order to keep the audience hooked. Reason number 5. Balanced internal and external struggle. In most of the conventional movies, the internal struggle of the character takes a backseat and the emphasis will be more on how the character is externally reacting or feeling. But in Animal and Arjun Reddy, there is equal amount of focus on the internal struggle of the characters. In fact, more in few situations.
Suffering is very personal, Siddharth. Let him suffer.
This technique helps in making the story more compelling and the characters will leave an impression on you. Irrespective of the opinions, the audience will take back these characters with them. And having the balance of external and internal struggle plays a very important role.
Yes, I'm an alcoholic. I have a drinking problem.
There are a lot of other aspects such as scene staging, extracting performances, camera work, brilliance in Sandeep. But above 5 mentioned reasons are the most important reasons why Sandeep Reddy Vanga is a unique voice of cinema. A Hollywood movie, Peeping Tom, that released in 1960 was directed by Michael Powell of the much-loved British film-making duo Powell and Pressburger, the pair behind the Red Shoes. Peeping Tom was reviled by critics as a depraved and evil work which deserved to be flushed down the nearest sewer. The film in effect ended Powell's career, but over the years, Peeping Tom is now revered as a cult classic. Similarly, our Indian director Gurudutt also made a film called Kaagaz Ke Phool. The film was a critical and commercial box office disaster in its time, owing to its theme which the masses could not identify with, but was later resurrected as a cult classic in the 1980s. Dutt never officially directed a film after this, but despite of the polarizing opinions, the masses made both Sandeep Reddy Vanga movies, that is Animal and Arjun Reddy, a commercial success. As I mentioned above, I'm not going to comment on the politics of the movie, but as a storyteller and a director, Sandeep is a brilliant filmmaker. That I definitely agree with. What is your opinion? If you think I missed any interesting details from either Arjun Reddy or Animal or about Sandeep Reddy Vanga, please mention that in the comments below. I will be back with another video. For that, please subscribe to our channel India Today SoSouth. You remember, right? This is Maruti Acharya signing off.